Today, we're going to be doing a full mix from scratch. We're going to be mixing a trap beat that I recently made in a video. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to let you hear the beat first, and then we'll get into the first part of gain staging and a little bit of leveling to start it off. But here is the beat as is after I made it. This was in a recent tutorial I did, so I took everything off. We're going to mix it from scratch. So I'm going to let you hear it as it was after I finished the beat. And then, like I said, we'll start off with gain staging and get into the mix. So the first thing that I want to do is adjust the gain on a lot of these things, especially the kick and the 808. You could see that they're pretty hot. I want to have some more headroom to this. So I'm just going to go ahead and adjust these, and I'm going to give myself a little bit more room to work with, and then we'll get started. A lot of the time when I'm just making the beat, I really push the kick and the 808 pretty loud. And then when it comes to mixing in a lot of my videos, you'll see that it's already gain staged and brought down. But we're going to start from scratch on this one. So let's go ahead and just bring the kick down a little bit. That's fine. That leaves us with a lot of headroom and it's not too quiet. And we'll go ahead and bring the 808 down a little bit more since I'm going to have the 808 quieter anyways. And then for instance, like this open hi-hat over here, I'm going to bring the volume up pretty loud so that I can turn it down if need be. And I just want to have that extra gain to work with. And we'll give the hi-hat a little bit of gain as well. I'm going to bring the kick and 808 down a little bit more. And you'll see on the master, we still have a lot of headroom to work with. So now what I'm going to do is just throw the kick and 808 in mono. They're already mono sources, but every time I say this in my videos, you already know it's habit that I'm going to throw them in mono. From here, what I'm going to do is just get a basic level of the mix. So now that we have headroom, I'm going to go ahead and just move the faders around and get a mix that I like. It's going to get us about 90% of the way there before we need to put any plugins, as long as we had good sound selection. And that's pretty much what we're going to do. I'll be throwing it in mono, taking it in and out of mono, and just getting a basic level for this. And then from there, we'll go into processing, and I'll show you what I want to do to get this to hit a little bit harder. So let's go ahead and just start with some basic leveling. I'm gonna go ahead and pan this a little bit. Pan this hi-hat over to the left, this one to the right. And I'm gonna go ahead and just loop this section right here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in mono. So this guitar is kind of an accent to the keys, so I'll bring it down a little bit. So as a rough mix, this is already sounding really good. From here, I'm gonna go ahead and do some processing. On the guitar in the tutorial when I made it, I did add processing during it, so I'm gonna leave it because those were kind of more effects to get a certain tone. So I'll show you what it was before and after, but if you watch the tutorial where I actually made this beat, you'll remember that I added a few things to the guitar to kind of widen it out a little bit and give it some more space. So this is a guitar by itself. And then I added a doubler, an EQ, and some reverb. So the EQ was to kind of tuck it back, cut out some low end. And the reverb was to kind of just widen this out. And then it just fit better with the keys. So instead of just redoing that, I just left it on because I did have it in the tutorial when I made the beat. So the next thing I want to do is affect this vocal and the keys. And for tutorial purposes, I'm going to do this in solo so you can hear what's going on. But you definitely always want to mix with everything playing so you can train your ears and be able to kind of pick apart certain things while everything's playing instead of having it in solo. And then when you bring other parts in, it ends up not working and certain things are clashing. So for this vocal, what I want to do is get a nice big reverb on it and also kind of tuck it back. So let's go ahead and press play. And let me go over here to the part where the vocal's actually playing. So I'm going to get reverb for this. Let's go over here. Let me see where it's at, reverb. And I'm going to turn this down to maybe 10, 20%. Leave the reverb up. I want to go with a plate for this. I want to have a bigger time, a pretty big decay on this. We'll take out a little bit of the low end, take out some of the high end, and see what this sounds like. And let's get an EQ as well. I'm going to pull up Q10. I'm going to cut out some of the lows. And I'm going to cut out some of the highs as well, so it's kind of just tucked. And a little bit of this mid-range. And then I'm going to add a delay to it to kind of spread it out a little bit. And it's going to be about an 1/8 note delay. So let's go over here and let's get 1/8 note. We'll ping pong it, high pass it a bit, super low pass, and let's bring this in, see what this sounds like. Kind of make it more dreamy. And let's tuck it back a little bit more. Really want that hi-hat to be stuck in the back. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get an EQ and just kind of, or actually, no, what we'll do is just put a reverb on it. So I'm just going to actually use the default Fruity Reverb, and we'll have a big decay on it. And I'm just going to bring the wet all the way up and the dry down a little bit. And it's kind of just going to have it be like an accent because I don't want that hi-hat to be too much of a hi-hat. It's more of like a transition type of part is what I made it for in the beat. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Now we need to bring it up in volume. Let me find where it's playing. That sounds better. And then maybe I'll actually end up just taking a little bit of high end out. There we go. Because like I said, for that was more stylistic of a choice. I wanted it to just be really tucked in the back. So next, what I want to do is free up some room on the low end of the keys. For this mix, I want the keys to be a little bit thin, not too thin. I mean, a lot of the time I don't cut that much low end out of my pianos if it's not clashing. I do cut out low end, but like not a crazy amount. But for this beat, I kind of want that piano to be a little bit thin. So again, a lot of these choices are either going to be for reasons that you're having issues like clashing or something not working together, or stylistic choices of kind of how you want the mix to sound. So I'll probably bring this up to like 150, 200 to kind of thin out this piano on purpose and give it a different tone. And let's check it in mono. There's a little bit of muddiness. This 400 range, let's go ahead and take that out. Maybe 2-3 dB. That's sounding better. And then I'm going to get S1 and I'm going to widen out this piano just a little bit. And if you don't have S1 or a widening plugin, you can come over here and pull this over to the left and it will widen it out. And then obviously to the right to mono it in. So this is sounding good. Now I can move over to the kick and the 808. The clap and the hi-hat just off sound selection, they already sound good, so I'm probably not gonna honestly do too much to them, but I want to use a clipper on the kick a little bit to get it to hit harder, but stay around the same dB reading, and then for the 808, I wanna add a little bit of either saturation or distortion. So let's go ahead and start off with a kick. I'm either gonna use JST Clip or G Clip. Let's see what G Clip sounds like on this one. So let's bring the clip down to where the signal's at, so we can keep it at that same volume. And we'll do more of a soft clip, more towards a soft clip, and then we'll push the gain in maybe just a couple dB, see what it sounds like. Let me turn on oversample. Let me show you what it's doing. This is what it sounds like right now. Pushed up 10 dB into the clip. It sounds pretty crazy. We're not going to keep it like that, but let's just start off from 0 and go in. And here's what a harder clip would sound like. Soft. So we'll do maybe like 70, 80%. And I just want to push in like 2.5 dB, maybe 2.4. That's cool. So what that did is you're going to hear it louder, right? It is getting a little bit of clipping happening, but it kept it around the same dB. So if I go ahead and show you before and after, let's look at the kick. It's actually a little bit quieter, so we can come over here to clip and bring this up a little bit. So you're hearing it louder, but it's staying around the same peak, which is good. So next we'll go to the 808. I'm probably just going to use Fruity Fast Distortion for this because I think that could sound good. So let's go ahead, pull that up and find out how we want to have that set. I'm going to go ahead and have the whole mix playing and blend this in. Let's bring the mix down, threshold down. I already like this tone, and then we'll blend it in. So let's go ahead and solo that so you can really hear what's going on. So here's before. I actually don't like that tone. Let's go through the presets. Let's see what this sounds like blended in. And then just to see, let's see what Blood Overdrive would sound like. Let's gain match it real quick. So I actually like Blood Overdrive more. It's kind of like a thicker sound, so we'll go ahead and leave that. And now let's go ahead and hear what this sounds like all together. And we'll start it from the beginning and see what we want to do with the mix. I'm going to go ahead and have it in mono first and see what it sounds like. I'm going to go ahead and turn down my headphones a little bit. Let's see what it sounds like. So on G Clip, I'm going to go over here to clip and I'm going to bring this up a little bit and push it in a little bit more. And then let's hear it from the top. So let me go ahead and start from the beginning. So I really like how that's sounding. I think for the mix, this sounds good. The drums are hitting hard. The kick's hitting very hard. The rest of the drums are nice and up front. They're not too bright, but they're bright enough. And then the keys, the guitar, and the vocal all fit well together. So I'm pretty happy with this mix. All right, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, leave a thumbs up. You guys can follow me on all social medias at Lifestyle Did It. Make sure to hit my site, lifestyledidit.com, for everything else. Other than that, subscribe to your boy, push notifications. Thanks.